This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio. And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. We welcome your calls, your comments, your questions. If you want to join the conversation with Urban and myself, all you have to do is pick up the phone and dial 347-857-3958. Again, the number here is 347-857-3958. Irv, my friend.
Yes, sir.
How was your day today, sir?
Great day today, man.
Tell me all about it.
Man, you know what? I found out early this morning that my company was approved as a mentoring firm for the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Wow. Now, how does that help your business?
Well,
having that sort of designation.
What that designation does is that, believe it or not, it allows me now to assist other companies who want to do business with that particular agency. So now I get to mentor companies that want to position themselves to do business with that government agency.
Now, I think that's an awesome accolade. How did you achieve that?
Believe it or not, you know, it sounds like a spinoff from yesterday's show, but networking.
Really?
Yeah, networking.
So it all comes back to networking.
It all comes back to effective networking and developing relationships in such a way that government agencies or whoever it is you want to do business with is comfortable with doing business with you because they know you, they know your business, they know how you do business, they know your character, comfortable with your skill set and your ability to deliver on that.
Now, let's talk about your business just for a second. Now one of the things that you do is that you help individuals who sometimes they don't even have business experience.
That's right.
And you help them
That's
not
exactly
only get their government supply contracting businesses set up,
right,
but you go a step further. You take them into the various agencies.
Right.
You tell them who they need to connect with, who
Correct.
they need to talk to,
That's correct.
how you do that.
Right.
Now, does it work for everybody?
No, not at all. Not even close, because not everybody is going to do the work.
Okay.
Yeah, and quite honestly, a lot of times people will ask me that question. They'll say, well, how many people have you helped be successful? And I always have the right answer, and that's everybody who wants to. That's the right answer, because I don't really control that. You know, I'm kind of paving the way. You know, I'm cutting across all the red tape that keeps people from coming and selling to the government a part of their business strategy.
Yeah.
So I cut down a lot of that, but still at the end of the day, it comes down to whether or not that business owner is going to take charge and take the initiative to go on to the next steps.
So the bottom line is that it's still incumbent upon the person who's taking the course for them to do a great deal of the work in helping their business win and receive these contracts.
Absolutely. That's why it's not pie in the sky. I mean, they're going to do the work.
You know, and I'm not saying that this has happened with you, but I could see whereby someone would come in, pay you for your services, and your teaching and your training, and put an effort. I'm not going to try to gauge on what type of effort, but put an effort towards winning and receiving those contracts. It not be successful, then come back and say that what you're doing doesn't work.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, it happens all the time. Because that usually those people are generally not the people who want to accept full responsibility for their success.
Mm-hmm.
They want to displace that responsibility. And what I'm doing, they're paying for a training. They're paying for a 12-hour training course.
Right.
And that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But immediately, even though we've provided them with the training, we've provided them with the tools, we've provided them with the connections that they need, and I might add, at the end of all that, then we turn around and provide them with the financing they need, and still, after all that, somehow it can be my fault that they're not successful.
So you've had this experience.
Of course. Absolutely. No, that's not new. That's actually, it's funny you talk about that, John, because, that's actually part of the deal. I've just come to appreciate, you've come from the business community. You've been in business for a long time and successful. And in your mortgage business, it's almost the same thing. If you told a person, you want to buy a house, yes. Okay, I'm going to tell you all the steps necessary for you to be successful in getting the financing you need so that you can buy the house that you want. And they do 80% of it. And then it's your fault that they were unsuccessful getting in the home they wanted.
Right.
And it's basically the same principle. In fact, I actually had a person come and tell me, you know what, Irv, I went through your training and I did absolutely 90% of everything you said, and I'm not successful. And
90%.
No, they literally said those words.
Okay.
I did 90% of what you said, and I don't have a contract.
Well, and again, the accolade that we just talked about, you
Right.
are the what is it? The official mentoring.
Yeah. My company is recognized as a mentoring firm. In other words, if you, as a small business person, said, "I'm here in Texas, I want to sell my products or services to the Texas Department of Public Safety, and I want to position my company. I want to add this now." Well, my company is a mentoring firm now, saying that we can enter into a mentor-protege agreement, which alerts the agency that now you've gone and connected with a mentoring firm to provide you with technical assistance, training, tools, resources, support, so that you can learn what you need to learn to make those connections inside of that agency so you can position yourself to compete for those contracts.
Nowhere in what they've brought you on as a mentor to do with the Texas DPS does it say that by being mentored by this firm, you're guaranteed
No.
a contract.
No, they have to compete.
Okay.
No.
And if you guys are wondering where I'm going with all of this, it's just that I think that for anyone who is any sort of skeptic,
Right.
for what your program is
Sure.
and what your program does, I think that's been sort of quelled by this designation that
No
the
doubt.
Texas Department of
No
Safety
doubt.
has placed upon you as an official
Exactly.
mentor for their program.
Exactly. And let me just say this, too, and thank you for saying that, John. I mean, the bottom line is that agency has to vet you. I mean,
Right.
That's an application process.
Right.
And you can't just walk in off the street and get a government agency to say, okay, this is a firm that we would consider a mentor if
Right.
you're going to do business with us.
Right.
Here's somebody who can help you do that.
Right.
And so I'm just I've been giggly all day
You
about
should
that.
have been. You should. I mean, I think that's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
That speaks volumes about what you're doing, and you are making noise out there.
As
it relates to bringing people through your program.
Sure.
But the bottom line to our listeners, I want them to understand that if you don't get a job after college, nowhere do I see people going and
Right.
blaming the college.
Right. That's exactly right. And it happens all the time where people want to try to not assume responsibility for their success.
Right.
And it's just, it's really a travesty when it happens because the minute you give somebody else the responsibility for your own success, it also means that you just about guaranteed your own failure.
Yeah.
Because now the thing that makes you successful is out of your hands.
Right.
And that's never the case. And so it kind of speaks to some bad psychology, I guess, that's out there when it comes to what separates business owners who are wildly successful from those who are seemingly ne'er-do-wells. They're never successful,
Right.
and they just kind of fail all the time, which I really believe that psychologically it gets to be just a habit.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
like for you and I, we talk a lot, when we get a chance to, which is rare, but when we get a chance to talk, one of the things that you and I have in common is that we understand who is responsible for our success.
We are.
We are. Period.
Ultimately, chiefly, supremely,
That's exactly right.
independently. I mean, I can't put enough adjectives.
That's right.
In the front of that, you are responsible for your success period, end of story. And until you have accepted that you are chiefly and solely responsible for whether or not you're going to be successful, for whether or not other people are going to like you, for whether or not other people are going to help you.
Absolutely.
You're not ready for business.
Not ready at all.
You're not ready. And I don't know any successful person. And when I say successful people, we've interviewed true successful people
That's
on
exactly
this
right.
program. I don't know any one of them that has not accepted that whether or not they are successful is completely and entirely within their control.
That is absolutely correct.
And you have to accept that. When you go to college and you get that degree does not guarantee you anything. It gets you an extra opportunity to compete.
That's correct.
Going through your program does the exact same thing. You're going to teach them and train them on the many ways that they can compete more efficiently.
Right.
As well as having a knowledge about how to compete.
Right.
And even about their own business that
Absolutely.
they probably didn't have in the first place, which should make you more successful.
Well, that's exactly right. And with that said, half of the people who come to our training are actually experienced business owners, but they're not experienced in the government space.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, my hat's off to you, sir.
Thank you, man.
I really appreciate that. I think that is some great news, guys. We're going to talk about the psychology of business success today. We're going to give you 5 or 6 points that you can take away with. These are the things that it takes for you to be successful in your business, so stick around, don't go away. This segment is brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the magazine that is for and about Houston's entrepreneurs. Even if you're not in the Houston footprint, this magazine speaks to you and will help you with tips, tools, and strategies to help build your business. Go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com and put your information, and we would love to send you one for free each and every month to your email inbox. More in a moment with John Cruz and Irv Hughes. We'll be right back.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is?
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irvin and I are talking about the psychology of business success today. And, you know, being in business is like playing a game of chess. I mean, for me, I think it takes carefully planned strategic moves that often call for you to forecast how your competition or your opponents and the market will respond to those moves. There's a psychology game that's being played in business, and for those of you who do not understand that, are really behind the times. It's simply put, it's a mind game.
Absolutely. And John, I love your analogy about playing chess, because business is very much a chess game. Unfortunately, most business people are playing checkers.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people's competitors are playing chess, and then a lot of times we'll find ourselves as small business owners, we're playing checkers, and we're wondering why we can't seem to get ahead. And the problem is, a lot of times it's kind of like what we were talking about in the opening segment, how it's just bad psychology.
Right.
You know, a lot of times I know in my own case, I had to stay in business long enough, and I was fortunate to do that, to get good people around me really to help me get my head on straight. You know, I didn't know when I started in business, you know, because I was coming out of being an employee. Right. And I really thought, because I had been an employee for so many years and I had done well as an employee, that somehow that gave me the skill sets and the determination and the right mindset to run a business, when quite the opposite was true.
Oh, certainly.
And so oftentimes I find new entrepreneurs, and this happens a lot with new entrepreneurs, where they will have a desire to come out and start their own business, but they've been working as an employee for many, many years. And quite frankly, if that's you folks, you don't have your head on straight.
Right.
And you just don't.
You know what, for me, and I was an employee for a while as well, and the biggest transition for me that I think that I was ill prepared for was the understanding and acceptance that 100% of everything that happened in that organization was my responsibility.
That's right.
There was no part of what I did or what that company did that I was not chiefly responsible for, and I had no buck to pass.
That's right.
And in my business, I come from the banking industry. When I did a great job at my job and I handed off that package to the next person, well, if that deal if it busted, if something bad happened, I had departments I could blame. I had other people that I could blame.
Sure.
I had people that I could call. But in your own business, you are responsible.
No doubt.
Chiefly. I mean, for everything that's done, good or bad, in that organization. And you have to understand and accept that.
That's exactly right. And that's kind of what I meant by not having your head on straight.
Yeah.
Because you immediately find yourself, and this is slow cooking, dangerous kind of stuff we're talking about here, because this is something that happens in your head. It's not something that you can necessarily put your hands on.
Right.
But you can find yourself looking for who is to blame for this particular failure, or who is to blame for this mediocre performance.
Right.
And quite frankly, check the mirror, because there's the person responsible.
Absolutely. With that being said, let's open up with the first topic. Now, we're talking about the psychology of business success. The first thing that you have to understand and accept is that people are the common denominator.
Absolutely.
And if I could qualify that, Irv, basically what I'm saying is employees, customers, suppliers, bankers, investors are all people. You have to learn how to influence them. And furthermore, I have to say that you will not accomplish anything noteworthy in your business without the help, support, and cooperation of people.
That's right. And guess what? People don't want to attach their wagon to someone that they don't have confidence in.
They won't.
They just won't do it. You know, I'm often reminded of people who look at a person in a leadership position. And a lot of people, I have one really good friend who wants to be in business and constantly looks at opportunities to be in business, but this person doesn't want the responsibility of leadership. And the last conversation I had with a person, I'm simply sitting there saying, look, This is part of the deal. If you're not willing to accept full responsibility for your success and your failure, you are not in a position to do this. You don't have your head in the game, because even if you do launch this business, no one is going to join you to support you or join you to help push your wagon down the road.
That's right.
Because they're going to think you're on a suicide mission.
Right. So basically, this person wants to go to heaven, but they don't want to die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly right.
I'm looking for that deal as well, but I realize that you must die.
You must die.
And in business, you have to commit 100%, and you have to be prepared for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
You have to
your
be
success
prepared.
or your failure.
You absolutely have to be prepared for the whole thing.
Now let's talk about with people being the common denominator. How do you motivate, inspire, and encourage others to help you? Because I don't know any person who's successful at anything who has not influenced and encouraged and inspired people to help and assist them along the way. And the first thing that I think about is that you have to ask yourself some tough questions. And these are, number one, who's helping you?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you need help from?
Right.
Because sometimes the people that we have that are helping us are not the people that we necessarily need.
Right.
And once you've identified the people that you need the help from, who do you know that knows them? Because they may not be in your sphere of influence.
No doubt.
They may not be people that you can pick up the phone and call. And then how do you influence those around you? Those are some of the questions that come up in business, because any business that I get started in, any venture that I want to play in, I have to first answer, or rather ask and answer these questions.
Sure.
So we can figure out, how do we put the right team of individuals on this project to move it along.
Right. And you know what, before and I want to talk about these questions, John, because they are absolutely pertinent and relevant to our audience, our listening audience's success. Mm-hmm. And many of them have probably already suffered from either asking these questions and giving the wrong answers, or thinking they have the answers without having asked these questions.
Certainly.
So either way, this is meaningful and relevant. But what I was getting at is, you better darn well understand your business model, because your business model is ultimately going to determine how you go about answering these questions. For example, if your business model calls for a vibrant and dynamic, skillful networker, and I'm just using networker as an example, your business model calls for that. That's how your business model makes money. That's what your efficiency is. Then the question, who is helping you, is critical.
Yes, it is.
Because you can have a person who is not adept in these skills, and that person may very well have a willing spirit. They might be in a position because they do want to help, but guess what? That person is not the right person for that particular position. Now you got trouble, because now you're going to put an expectation on this person, and they're ill-equipped to deliver.
You know what? And how often have we put someone in a position and we expect and anticipate that they're good for that particular position, and they're not.
They're just not.
And then that lends itself to the next question. Okay, who's helping me? Well, I got these people helping me, but whose help do I really need?
That's exactly right.
This may go beyond the people that are currently on the boat rowing with me.
Right.
And now there are a couple answers that I'd like to offer.
Sure.
When you are struggling to figure out, in what ways can I influence my network so that they cooperate with me, they work with me, they do what they can do to help become a part of my success? There are a couple things that I think that you have to also ask yourself. How can I first help them?
Sure.
And then, what do they want or need in return for helping me?
Right.
And generally, if you can answer those questions, you can now recruit someone to become part of your team to help push your success.
That's absolutely true. And keeping in mind that that's not always necessarily money.
That's right. That's exactly right.
A lot of times people believe, and I know for our listening audience, a lot of times people will say, well, you know what, that sounds good, John and Irv, but I don't have that kind of money. I just don't have that money in my account. Well, folks, guess what? Good news for you. Money is not the sole and single motivator for most people to come along and help you. Sometimes people want to give back, believe it or not. And if you are busy helping yourself along, that's one of the main attractions, I believe, to get really top talent to come and help you, is that you're busy helping yourself, and people who are tops in their industry, they'll see that.
No, absolutely.
I've actually had people come along and ask me, well, hey, tell me what I can do to help.
Right. And Irv, when I think about it, we're in a country of 300 million people.
Right.
And only 0.5% of them make over $250,000.
That's exactly right.
300 million people, only 0.5% makes that type of income. So everybody's not motivated by money.
No, not at all. Not everybody is motivated by money, and not everybody is going to be motivated by money.
Right.
And with that said, that is the sweetness about our country. I believe that's how we've been able to become a world superpower financially. In a fraction of the time against other countries and civilizations that's had literally thousands of years worth of head start on us.
Yeah. And here we are, a country that's 300-400 years old, and I'm talking about going before 1776.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And we're tops.
That's exactly right, and it stays that way too. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by Dominion Commercial Credit. Dominion Commercial Credit offers business credit and contract financing for small businesses nationwide. You can give them a call today at 800-381-0073 or visit net30credit.com. Folks, stay with us. The education will continue right after these messages.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
Disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee News. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for Coffee News. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. If you want to join the conversation, Irv and I are available to talk to you. You can call us at 347-857-3958. Again, the number here to the studio is 347-857-3958. We're talking about the psychology of business. I mean, this is a game of chess. You got to be prepared for it. Step one, we talked about people being the common denominator. People are the center of everything that you do, and no real business concern is going to move or grow without the help of people. So you have to get about the business of knowing how to influence them, how to encourage them to get behind your success, toe their part, and help take the business to where it needs to be. Now, part two of that, Irv.
Yes.
Is we live in a world of appearances.
That's exactly right. And you know what? When you don't look right, folks, you don't look right. You know what? It's worth it to make the investment to look right.
I'm going to tell you, you are 90% responsible for how others feel about you. And it comes down to these things. It's how you look, it's how you sound, and it's what you do.
Absolutely.
That make people like you, want to get behind you, want to help you,
right,
want to assist. And when I say look, that means that your business has to look the part. We say on this show all the time, there's nothing wrong with being a small business, but there's everything in the world wrong with looking like one.
That's exactly right. And John, you know, one of the things that I see with small business owners not looking right, and what I mean by not looking right, I'm talking about not looking like a business. When you don't answer the phone correctly, you don't look like a business.
Right.
When you don't invest in the tools that you should have in your industry standard tools, you don't look like a business.
Right.
When you don't conduct yourself in an orderly fashion when bad things happen, when you're tasked with the responsibility of handling problems that come up and you don't handle them in an efficient way, you don't look right.
That's right.
You don't look like a business.
When you use a Gmail email,
that's right,
on your business card,
that's right,
I think that some people, some clients, we're going to be turned off by that.
That's right.
Some of them are. And you have to be acutely aware of that. I believe that your domain name should match as closely to your business name.
Sure.
And on your business card, you should print that email that matches your business name, not a Yahoo, not an MSN.
That's right.
Not a Gmail or a Hotmail.
That's right.
And looking like a business, a true business,
right,
is part of winning the psychology game of success.
No doubt about it.
Now, when we talk about sound, you know, how you look, how you sound, and what you do. When I say sound, I don't necessarily mean, do you sound like Barry White when you open your mouth? When I say sound, I mean what type of attitude, enthusiasm, and optimism comes out of your mouth when you open it.
Absolutely. And folks, just for the benefit of those of us who do not sound like John Cruz, it's okay that you don't sound like John, that you don't have a resonant voice like John Cruz. That doesn't have any impact at all on how successful you can be if you're not blessed with that voice. We're talking about the energy that you bring.
Right.
How you sound when you're talking. Do you bring the energy? Do you bring confidence? And I'm reminded, John, years ago, I was out of town. It was in another city, and I was attending a seminar. I'm in finance, right? So I go to this big financial conference thing. And at the conference, there were some seminars there. And so I go in with a friend of mine to this seminar, and we're in the back of the room. And this guy gets up and he starts talking. Now, this is a major investment firm.
Okay.
And in the room, get the picture of this, there's a room full of investors, people who have come there as prospective investors to put their money in this particular financial services company.
Okay, that's serious.
You follow?
I'm with you.
And the first thing the guy does is he gets up to the microphone and he goes, "Hi. I'm going to use the microphone because I speak a little softly."
So Michael Jackson worked for this
No, not at all. But my point is that he struck fear because of how he sounded, and because he didn't strike confidence in anyone in the room.
You know, as you say that, let me tell you something. If I walked in and I needed to have heart surgery,
right,
and my surgeon had a little light, petite voice like that, and in addition, he's saying that, normally we have a 60 to 70% success rate with this surgery. I'm going to do the best that I absolutely can. I'm getting the hell out of there.
Exactly.
And you got to understand the psychology behind how you sound. Now, with that same number, if my surgeon comes in and he says, listen, we are the top firm, we're the top hospital in the country that does this type of surgery. But let me tell you, there's only a 60 to 7% chance that you're going to make it through this. Mm-hmm. But you're going to have the full weight and education of our staff working on you every step. Now, you're telling me the same thing, but it's the way you say it.
Exactly right.
You have to stand forward, buck up, and know and own what you're saying. You got to come through as though you're responsible, that you have the right attitude and enthusiasm, and that you're optimistic about your business.
That's right.
You have to do that. Otherwise, someone is going to just say, you know what? I don't know why I didn't choose them, but it just didn't.
That's right. Didn't sound right.
Didn't sound right. Didn't feel right. Just something wasn't right.
That's exactly right. And let me tell you, I stuck around for this seminar just to see, John, what the outcome was going to be.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to ask, you weren't there, but I'm going to ask you this question because you already know the answer. How many people signed up for a new account from that guy's seminar?
How many people were there?
200.
10 or less?
None.
I was trying to be helpful. I mean, I wanted to work with the guy.
Not one person.
He wasn't the right guy to present.
He should not have been in front of those people.
Right.
And it just blew my mind. Number one, whoever was responsible to make the management decision to put this kind of person in front of people who are being asked to part with their money.
Wow.
And entrust the investment activities to this firm with this guy who could not speak with authority at all.
And the sad part to that is he was probably supremely qualified.
Of course.
To lead those people.
No doubt.
But just not the right guy to pitch that product.
Well, exactly right. And quite honestly, it made me dig a little farther. I went to their website and I looked at the guy's profile, and you were absolutely right. I mean, he's certainly credentialed.
Yeah.
Out the wazoo.
Yeah.
But he was just not the right guy to get in front of those folks.
A world of appearances. That's what we're talking about. And we said here that you're 90% responsible for how others feel about you, how they look at you. And those three things, those three areas that we've identified are how you look, how you sound, and what you do. And when I say what you do, my point on that, Irv, is that your words have to match your actions.
No doubt.
Bottom line. How many people do you
right,
that you would do business with, who every time they say something, their actions are completely the opposite? It doesn't work that way.
No.
So what you do is supremely important to winning the psychology of business game, because now every time you say something, man, your follow through has to match.
That's exactly right. And on to that though, John, and we sort of touched on this early in the show. You've got to be willing to be 100% responsible for your own success.
Certainly.
Don't blame somebody else for your failures.
Right.
You and I talk about our failures on this show all the time.
Right.
And it's interesting how in no case can I remember where you and I blame somebody else for our failure. No, if we blew it, we blew it.
It was always my fault.
It was always my fault.
Right.
Even though, I might have been, it was my fault. Well, somebody could say, well, you didn't know the market was going to crash. Well, the truth is, maybe I should have known.
Right. Absolutely.
Maybe I should have known the market was going to crash.
And once you found out, I know one of my problems was that I was living in a state of denial.
Right.
Once I saw
that
not
going to happen,
ship was going down.
Right.
I even said that, well, you know what, the government is just not going to let this ship go down
That's
any
right.
further.
That's
and then once it sank to the bottom of the ocean, I realized that, you know what, I was wrong.
That's exactly right. And same thing happened with me. We lost all of our banks in a matter of 60 days.
Right.
With loans in the pipeline. So, it's one of those things.
You know what? I have to also say that people do business with those who they know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
And when we talk about know, like, and trust, how do you get somebody to know and like you? First of all, you're genuinely interested in them. You listen more than you talk.
Right.
And then trust, period. It just takes time and performance.
You have to earn it, and you earn it through performance.
And it always amazes me when someone would come up and want you to co-sign their credibility, and they just met you on LinkedIn.
That's exactly
yesterday. I had a
right.
guy who found me on LinkedIn and wanted me to hook him up with a friend of mine who is high up at Boxer Properties, which is a real estate management company, and he wanted me to make an introduction for him. And I just told him I cannot do that. You cannot walk in on the hem of my credibility,
right?
And I don't know anything about you.
That is just not happening.
Nah,
it's just not happening. And you know what? And then you have to think about the mentality of somebody who would ask that.
Yeah, you do.
You really do. I mean, come on, let's be real about that. When somebody comes along, they don't know you, they know they don't know you, and then they expect you to put your credibility behind their name without any history.
Right.
You got to ask, okay, well, what is going on in your head that makes you think that I would do that?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you have an opinion on that. You can give us a call right after the break, and we'll make sure we get you on there. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by the Lexington Law Firm. When you need credit help, you can get a free consultation today by calling 888-744-7081. Hey, keep listening, folks. The education will continue right after these messages.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
If you want to join the conversation, you can give Urban and I a call at 347-857-3958. Again, the number here is 347-857-3958. Urban and I are talking about the psychology of business success. We're giving you a few points that you would do well to remember and to put into action. The first one being people are the common denominator. You have to figure out how you can influence the cooperation of others. You will not become successful or growing concern without the help of other people, period. Number two was that we live in a world of appearances. How you look, what you say, how you sound, and what you do affect whether or not someone wants to get on board, get on your bandwagon, and help and assist you in your level of success. And then number three,
be a forward thinker. Man, you know what?
Now, what exactly does that mean to you?
When I say be a forward thinker, you know, my thing is, if you can't project out into the future about what you want your outcome to be, then I think you're in trouble, because now how are you going to assess which people can help you? How are you going to assess what relationships you're going to go after? How are you going to make the assessment on what business activities are going to take you toward your goal or away from your goal? And so being able to see the future, so to speak, in the beginning, so that you can share that with other people who might want to help you. I think if you're not a forward thinker, I think you got real trouble here, because I don't know how you're going to convey where you're headed with the understand, because now people are only going to be able to focus on where you are. And who of us wants to only focus on where we are instead of where we're going?
And think about how many small business people that you talk to on a monthly basis that are only focused on where they are and where they've come from. And they're not beginning with the end in mind.
That's right.
And in my opinion, every relationship, each business deal that you do, every business that you start, you should be beginning with the end in mind. What is the long-term goal? You know, what do you expect out of this?
That's right. What's the end game here?
What's the end game? And that even relates to the people that you do business
with,
people that you hire. Where do I see you being in a year?
That's right.
It's great that I have you here answering phones today, but if that's all that you'll ever be, I may need to wait on someone else who has more potential. With the proper training, could potentially run my call center or something to that effect.
That's exactly right. And you know what, for the benefit of our listeners, folks, let me just give you a little tip here, okay? This is some experience. If you're looking at hiring somebody to help you with your business, and they have not asked you the question, where are you headed with this? Tell me what the end game is. Paint a picture for me of how we're going to be positioned in the near year, in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years. If a person is not asking you a question about what the future holds as you see it, you better be really careful about bringing that person into your organization.
Especially being a small business person.
Being a small business person, man, I'm telling you.
Because you know what? Every employee has more value than that which you're paying them in a small business. You know, we say all the time that if you only have 10 people and 3 people don't come to work, 30% of your workforce
that's painful.
Has just late or not come in for the day.
That's right.
And that could be huge in terms of productivity.
It is huge.
So you have to think beyond what you're hiring for at this moment. Is this someone that can grow with my company? Or is this someone that will always be nothing more than just a receptionist?
That's exactly right. Which kind of brings me to the next point here, John, and that's this. You know, you got to know your business. I mean, there's no substitute for knowing your business. If you don't know your business, you don't study your business, you don't study your competitors, which you know that's a big one for me.
That's it.
Why don't you have intelligence about your competitors? You have to be able to convey what it is that you do. You have to know how you make money in your particular business.
Right.
Because people want to know that.
Yes, they do.
They want to know that.
You know, Irvin, my thought process is this. There's so many opportunities that go unnoticed
right.
by small business people.
That's right.
And one of the things that I think that you have to have a hold on before you can recognize opportunity is you have to know what it is that you do and be able to speak that eloquently. You have to know exactly how your money is made. And that includes knowing what your margin of profit is and what your true expenses are.
That's right.
And you have to know absolutely who your client is. If you cannot articulate these things masterfully, then you're not prepared to take advantage of opportunities that will arise all around you. And there is a sea of opportunity that exists around each business. It's just the owners who may not be attuned to pick up that frequency of opportunity.
That's exactly right. And, and one of the things that sticks out, too, is when you're in a business organization and you're in a leadership position, folks, educate yourself, okay? Educate yourself and show your organization, people who are going to connect to you, that you have an appreciation for education.
Right.
Because you'll find out that will be sort of a culture that you'll cultivate throughout your organization.
And culture is something, really, culture really is the heartbeat of businesses, and the type of, we say all the time, there is a culture that exists in your business, whether you have designed it yourself or it has just grown out of whatever.
Out of necessity. That's what it is. It's out of necessity.
But there is a culture that exists in your business.
That is exactly right. And guess what? All these things that we've been talking about, folks, really has to do with the foundational principles of building a good corporate culture. And when I say corporate, I don't mean that you're a behemoth company. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about corporately. That means together. That means a cohesive unit, whether that's you plus 2 or you plus 20,000.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Everybody needs to be in on what those culture points are, so that you'll have the right business environment that people will want to work in. People will want to come to work. They'll want to grow, and they'll want to grow with you.
Irvin and I are talking about the psychology of business success. We've given you a few points. There are 5 points that we wanted to leave you with. I'm going to recap. People are the common denominator. You have to know what it takes to influence people. Without people, you will not do anything noteworthy. Number 2, we live in a world of appearances, which means that you have to look like a successful company. You have to be a successful company. You have to be a forward thinker. You got to think beyond your checkbook. You got to begin with the end in mind. How you start must be how you finish. So if you if you start strong, you have to finish strong. Then number 4, knowing your business presents new opportunities. You have to know exactly what it is that you do. You have to know how your money is made. You have to know who your client is, so that you are adept and in tune with being able to pick up additional opportunities. And the last point we wanted to leave you with is
become a person of action. That's the key. Become a person of action. Folks, you got to be a person of action to have a company of action.
That's right.
Because, again, it creates a culture where people act. And when we say act, and I'm going to just throw this out, John.
Please do.
When we say act, folks, we're talking about execute.
That's it.
We're talking about execute. Whatever it is your business assignment is,
right,
that your organization is the type of organization or a group of people where everybody knows what their role is, what they're supposed to be doing, and they act upon it.
When we come back from the break, I want to touch on that action.
Let's absolutely do that. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by SalesNexus.com. Sales Nexus offers the best in web-based customer relationship management systems. You can sign up today for a free trial copy of Sales Nexus by visiting SalesNexus.com or calling 888-267-3589. Folks, we're in the home stretch. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is?
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irvin and I are talking about the psychology of business success. We've been talking about winning at the game of business. It takes a certain psychology. There's some very rudimentary things that you have to put into practice. And we last left off with becoming a person of action / a company of action. And you know what the old saying is, action begets
action.
Yes, it does. But what people never say is what type of action, because there are different types of action that exist.
That's right.
You got negative action.
Right.
You got weak action.
Right.
And you got wrong action.
Right.
And action does beget action.
No doubt.
But you want to make certain that it's perfect action.
That's exactly right. And just keeping in mind, folks, for our listening audience here, guys, let me just tell you, when you own a business, the people in your organization are going to do half of what you do correctly.
So that means that you have to perform at a high level each and every day.
You have to be the person who is performing at a high level every day.
Wow. Perfect action, perfect performance, perfect practice. You know, it takes time to develop that.
That's right.
But as the head of your company, you have to become a stickler for that. You cannot miss any opportunity, and I want to call it an opportunity.
That's right.
You can't miss any opportunity to teach and mold your crew, teach and mold your employees or your staff.
That's right.
In the ways of putting out perfect performance each and every day.
That is exactly right. The question is, folks, are you the rabbit in your organization from which all the rest of the hounds are chasing? You need to be, from a performance standpoint, you need to be the rabbit in your organization.
You got to be the bunny.
You got to be the bunny, and you better be running, because guess what? They're going to do half of what you do right.
Well, guys, we've enjoyed bringing this content to you. I hope you've enjoyed listening to it. Keep in mind that Irvin and I do have a website. You can always watch what we do every day, Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. by logging on to www.cruzandhughes.com. You've been listening listening to CruzandHughes.com. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. So until tomorrow, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you tomorrow.
Take care.